Her har vi så hjørnekaponieren, den ene af dem. Der er også en anden side, men den er helt rodet til. Men vi kan se det fælder op ovenover de andre. Det var sådan en gatling maskingevær, der var der. Men de andre var beregnet til almindelige rifler. Og det der har været godt knald på her.
Always cutting the grass. The more they cut, the more it goes.
Yes, I know. The nature, you cannot stop it.
So. Now we are going down in what is called the counterscarp gallery.
Okay.
Fort Madalena has 3 counterscarp galleries. Okay, this is the second one. Basically, counterscarp galleries are passages which go from the inside of the fort towards the outside of the fort's moat, and the idea was that they always thought the enemy would, if trying to attack the fort directly, they would have to come through the actual moat of the fort. Now, to defend the actual moat, they built these passages at the 3 corners of this 5-sided fort. They had these rooms, which you're going to see as we go down.
Yeah.
In these rooms, they were fixed up to fire at the 5 angles, the 3 angles of the 5-sided fort.
Yes.
At first,
It's a Kaponiere.
At first, they had these 32-pounder guns.
Yes.
These big guns, like on the British ships of the Victory at water and all that. And they used to fire shrapnel and grape shot and all that in case anybody ever came down. Later in the 1890s, then they built, they had this form of Gatling machine gun.
Yes.
Okay, so again it could spread shot all across. And later, by the 1892, they built in these alcoves in the wall where they could fire out with rifles accordingly.
Yes.
Okay.
Gatling was hard stuff.
Yes. But we'll be careful because of the rainwater. Okay.
Yes.
Torch.
It's not so dangerous.
No, just be careful. If we are lucky, we will meet up with the 3 bats we have down here. I hope you are not afraid. Bats? No.
Okay. Oh, that's far a long way. Yeah.
And it's all the way down, and then you have to come all the way up again. Hold your breath. It's good, the rainwater, clean everything.
Yes, that's a good thing.
Yes.
You don't need to watch the staircase.
Be careful, do not put any pressure or hold on this, because it's...
Okay.
So walk on the side. So, what we have here is just a room where they used to store all the ammunition of the 32-pounder gun.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, you can see, it's like these things. It used to be closed securely once upon a time.
Yes.
Okay. And basically, in this room, underground room, they used to have all the shells stored over here, ready for usage in the gun emplacement, which I'm going to
Yes.
show you.
It was a magazine.
A magazine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This is very exciting trip. This. It's not every day I try this.
Okay, go more down. No,
Yes.
Careful.
And no water. It's too good to be true.
There's a drainage hole there. So
Okay.
might be muddy here. Let's see. Wait. No, not too bad. It goes through down here.
No. Yes, you should make the same thing in the other one.
They made these because when they were digging here.
Yes.
I'll show you.
Was it for air?
This one, not really for air.
No.
When they were digging all the way here,
Yes.
it was all done by hand.
Yes.
So there would be the Maltese navvy, they call him, and he would spend hour after hour chipping at the Maltese rock, as you can see, filling up the bucket, carrying it up the 72 stairs,
Yes.
and dumping it all around the fort to make the fort bigger and stronger. But then they found out that if they have these type of passages, when they were at this area down here, it was easier going from here to the top part instead of going all the way up there.
Of course, it was quicker.
Quicker.
Yeah, yes.
And saving, because everything had to be done by hand.
Yes.
We made these ourselves. You know, we watch the tourists, but it's fun when you come with the torches.
Yes.
Okay. So, this is where the main gun used to be. A 32-pounder gun,
Yes.
12 feet long. When it used to fire, they used to tie it up because of the ricochet.
Okay, yes.
Again, this here was another passage when they were digging here. This used to go all the way up to the top of the fort. Okay, so they used to use block and tackle to take up all the stone to the top part of the fort instead of carrying it all the way up.
Okay, yeah.
So originally they had this 32-pounder gun from here pointing through here, and it could fire at two edges of the fort. Okay. Later on.
So close it here.
Yes. Later on, here they had a form of Gatling machine gun which we just fire out accordingly.
Yes.
And then by the late 1880s they built these slots through, okay, basically.
Yes.
And now it is all overgrown and built.
Well, yes, that's all right.
The plan, the idea was you could see all the way across and fire out.
That's quite a lot of fire from here.
And also from here, another one. This we closed ourselves, yes, okay, but again, they could fire out at this side of the fort.
Yeah, and, yes.
Okay?
There's a big hole there.
It was a big hole and people could have come through, so we made this ourselves.
Yes, yes.
To prevent anybody coming in. Okay? So, now we're going to go much more down. It's here, be careful because it is quite steep and quite slippery. Okay?
Yes.
So, this was of the old side of the fort. Now we are going, like underneath the new side of the fort.
Yes.
Okay, slowly.
I want a lot underground.
All done by hand, you know, bucket after bucket.
Yes.
A lot of work.
Yeah, true. It takes time to build this fort.
Yeah, yes. 2 years to build the first five-sided fort, but then they continued making modifications and arrangements and improving.
Yes.
All the time. Until today, 140 years after, we are still meeting up with contractors and people to arrange here and fix up here and everything. So, what do we have here?
Oh,
Okay.
now we are.
So,
Yeah.
we can start from here. Okay.
Up and down.
Up and down, yes. You have to be young and good health. Okay. So again, this is where they had their Gatling machine gun.
Yes.
Pointing towards that direction.
Yes.
Okay? And if the enemy ever tried to come in, they would be shot at from the top part, from the underground.
Yes.
That is why they're called counter-scout galleries. And then they also built these later on, so with rifles.
Oh, rifles.
With rifles.
Yes.
That was the whole idea.
And one machine gun
One
up
machine
there.
gun, that's it.
But no cannon.
No, here no.
No.
In the other one.
Yes, okay.
Okay?
Yes. It's funny, no staircase here.
No. The roots from on top are all coming through and all cracking up the rock, as you can see.
Yes.
There's more as we go along. Okay. Stay on this side because it's a bit muddy.
Oh, yeah. That's really fantastic, this.
Du vil høre ham med en rettet sættes op. Du vil høre?
To the top.
Ja.
How?
10 meter op.
No,
Okay.
less, I think.
Yeah, 10. That's long.
Stop so yeah?
Huh? That's the other.
Okay, got another one. That's it.
Yes.
Okay. So here from another angle, they would fire out at the enemy
Yes.
with the Gatling machine gun. Here you can see all the way to that side. Took it
Yeah.
up. No? Okay.
Yes.
And again with the rifles, they could fire out accordingly.
Was
this
that machine gun, was it hand driving?
I don't know. I heard it was a Gatling machine gun, but by the 1890s, 130 years ago, they used it, and then by 1906, after they built all this lower extension, and they had tried several experiments to see if they could defend Malta from the Victoria lines, they found that they couldn't defend the Grand Harbour from the Victoria lines. The reason was two reasons. One, because they needed in all to defend all the forts in Malta, in Valletta and in the south of Malta and the Victoria line. They needed about 24,000 troops and gunners. And there never were 24,000 troops and gunners, maximum about 16,000, 18,000. So they were always short-handed. And the second reason why they didn't defend Malta from here was that the idea of warfare was changing. Just 2-3 decades before, in the 1860s and 1850s, there were battles which you know about, the Battle of Waterloo and in the Crimean War, where you would see the enemy in front of you, wait for him to come towards you. When you see the whites of his eyes, you pick up your Lee Enfield rifle and shoot at him.
Yes.
That was called chivalry.
Yes.
You would shoot at him and he would shoot at you, and who shoots the best and who hits first would win or die. Now the idea of chivalry was changing completely. Now the enemy would come from underneath you, from behind you, would stab you in the back, would blow you up to smithereens, and to defend all this line of 7-mile fortifications just became impossible. So they literally abandoned all the Victoria lines, and they went back to defending Malta from the sea, because Great Britain was still the most powerful country in the world up to World War I, and even slightly afterwards. So yeah, remained as is.
Is that from the soldier, or
no?
It's new.
You can see the dates. You can find dates. Some yes, maybe 1947. Some new. There are some old ones if you look carefully. But
yeah, I guess so.
Yes. Because the soldiers had a lot of time.
Yes, and
on their hands, and nothing much to do.
No. Yeah.
The water came in here. I don't know where it went.
What a film I make of this, I promise you.
Oh, good. And when you come next time, I hope you come again, I will take you to an even better one than this.
Yes.
This is the second one.
Well, then I need to come to Malta once again.
Why not? But to get to that one, it is quite difficult. You have to be properly dressed, and then climb a bit round and this. But there's one like this, long, but with all the rooms still intact, and all the windows and everything, so it's worth seeing.
This is a new way. We have not been here before.
Up. Slowly.
Yes.
Get your breath back.
Yeah.
These are the windows. This is interesting also. Over here in the section there was like a telephone exchange where from the top, where we were before, where the battery commander was, he was in communication with here and with the others also.
Yes.
So, because they could not see each other.
No.
And this is, we're talking of 120 years ago. They would communicate with each other by telephone, telling them that the enemy are coming from this direction, prepare the guns, prepare everything, so they could fire out accordingly. But it was all built for a purpose. In English we use the word deterrent, which means you do something so that you will scare the enemy not to do it. So they built all these fortifications and all these, for something which they thought was going to happen, but would never actually happened. Because Malta was never attacked directly by the enemy, whoever they were.
Even not Germany.
Germany, Italy, those were at the time. The Austro-Habsburg Empire. The Turks had finished. The Turks were a menace in the 14th, 15th, 16th century. This is how they used to, just
yes.
a whole day, chip, put it in a bucket, and up it goes. So
Hard work.
hard work, yes. But it was good work for them, because with the money
Yes, of
English
course.
used to pay him, he could feed his family.
Yes, of course.
Families then were families of 8, 10 people.
Yes. Wow, what a trip.
Jeg tror ikke, det er så solid.
Ja, det ved jeg godt, hvad.
That's the job. This is interesting.
Yes.
Okay, basically this goes through, it's just an air duct where air flows through from the 6-inch gun magazines where we were before, just pushing in air through, because they already needed air for breathing purposes.
Yes.
It was
Okay.
for that purpose. Now, here we have some old, genuine Giacomo 1940.
1940, yeah.
Okay, and then this is
Second war.
HMS Penelope 1942.
Aha, the middle of.
1942. Victoria, I don't know, 007 something. 1940. Someone decided to make a cross.
Yes, yes.
Basically, someone decided to make a swastika, it seems, yeah?
Yeah, well, also that. I not expect that.
Yeah. So that is that. I'll take you to another part which you'll find interesting.
Yes.
But this is more to do now with the 1950s, 1960s, when this whole fort, the guns here, and the 3 guns here, they removed in 1935 because they were too small. And they continued working with the 2 big
Yes.
9.2-inch guns.
Do they move it away?
No,
Because they're small?
they just cut them up and dispose of them.
Okay.
A lot of the guns in Malta and in many countries, they would literally just lift them up and dump them in the ditches. And
Yes.
some of them they still exist. In this fort we have not found these, but we know that even with the big guns, the 9.2-inch guns, after World War II, the whole world was in a sad, poor state, and the British didn't have enough money to continue maintaining all the colonies and all the guns they had all around the empire, even though the empire was getting smaller. So in 1957, the British Parliament took a decision to scrap and stop maintaining most of the gun fortifications in Malta, in Gibraltar.